Hey guys! Oh my gosh, my hair! Okay, anyways, I just woke up. Okay, I was laying there and the Lord was telling me you gotta make a video about dating. Dating is something I kind of been hesitant to write about because I feel like there's been a lot of attacks, spiritual attacks coming my way regarding dating. But my friend was telling me that it's because there's a disconnect between Christianity church and dating. And that's why Satan is trying so hard to disconnect us. It says that there's 50% of divorce in the church as well. And so my parents are divorced. My dad cheated on my mom. And there's a lot of blame and shame and guilt concerning that. But I want to just share with you my process. I would say I've probably been on more than 100 dates. I've met hundreds and even I've met hundreds and hundreds of people even through just like being out in public, ministry, and stuff like that. So I just want to share with you something I've learned is first of all, ladies, don't be afraid to initiate. When you are on online dating apps, your goal is to go through people as fast as possible and understand what it is that you're looking for, whether this person is the one or not. So meet as soon as possible, initiate and say, "Hey, let's hang out, let's meet," you know, because that's the goal. Your goal isn't to text for ages and text for years. That is not your goal. Your goal is to meet as soon as possible and to experience life with them, to get to know them in person, see how they deal with conflicts, see how they deal with people at restaurants, like be as honest as possible. Second, my second tip, be as honest as possible on dating apps. I write that I'm waiting till marriage to have sex. I write that I'm looking for marriage. I'm looking for a long term relationship. And I'm not looking for hookups. I tell people on my dating profile that I am not 420 like friendly. I'm not looking for someone who is a pothead or alcoholic or addict. Be as honest as possible. Don't be afraid to offend because it's your life, it's your marriage, it's your relationship. And so many times we're so scared of offending others that we don't tell the truth. So the truth will set you free. So yesterday, I went to hang out with someone. I was feeling down. So someone was like, "Hey, like, I know how you're feeling. Like, maybe we should meet up and I'll make you feel better." I was like, "Okay, why not?" So this was a guy that I went on like one date with. And after that date, I told him like I don't feel like it's gonna go anywhere. I'm sorry. And 'cause I did not know that he even had a kid and he revealed this to me when I went on the first date with him. So I said, I don't want to be with anyone who has kids. It's not because like you're not special, kid is not special. It's like I just don't want to be a stepmom. Like I want to have my own kids. Is that offensive? Maybe to some people, but to me, I know what I want. So the older you get, the more you just know what you want. And like I don't want to be with someone who already has kids because I've dated people who had kids and I felt like second in his life. Like I wasn't given the attention that I really deserved, right? Um so anyways, we met up and then like we went to a restaurant which I felt the Lord telling me to. The owner was there, so I got to meet the owner, and then it was crazy because like he just blessed us and was like, I want to give you extra food, like here. I'm gonna tell the chef to make you guys extra food, and I was just like, wow. So I was feeling the Lord tell me, like, go talk to him, like, go sit with them, go sit with the owners. And I was like, oh, I want to sit with the owners. And the friend I was with was like, no, I don't want to because I'm here to get to know you. And I'm like, okay, first of all, if we're friends, like, w- like, why is it that, like, I have to sit here and do when, like, I want to be in a group setting? Anyways, so I confronted him and I said, "Look, did you meet with me thinking that I was, like, romantically interested?" And he's like, "Well, I thought you, like, changed your mind." And I was like, "Okay," like, he's like, "I know that you told me that you weren't interested, that you didn't see a future with me, but I thought that because you agreed to meet with me, like, you changed your mind." Okay, 3rd tip. So I have 1, 2, 3 tips, right? Meet as soon as possible, initiate, don't be afraid to say what's on your mind. 2nd, be as honest as possible about what you're looking for. 3rd, what was the 3rd? I already forgot. Um, I forgot. Anyway, so the point is, like, he was like, "Oh, I thought you, like, changed your mind." And I was like, "No, I didn't, like, because you said that you just wanted to be there for me as a friend." So sometimes okay, here's the 3rd tip. Sometimes, especially guys, I don't know, like, why? Maybe they're just hunters or pursuers. They think that girls will give them a chance if they continue to be friend zoned. Like, that they're continuing to be, like, a good friend to that girl, that the girl will, like, change her mind. No. Like, that doesn't work. Unless she, like, initiates and, like, contacts you again, like, sure, like, I mean, some people have that love story, but, like, don't bank on it. Don't bank on the fact that, like, someone's gonna change because you're being such a good friend to them. Like, it's a waste of time. Like, point blank, period. Like, it's a waste of time. So, don't stick around thinking that someone's gonna change their mind, and guess what? It's very uncomfortable. Like, I've been friends with guys that, like, I almost, like, disrespect them because they just respect themselves by doing that. By sticking around as a friend, like, trying to be a good friend and thinking that they're gonna change my mind about them because they're being such a good friend. To me, that's called disrespecting himself. And I find that, like, very dishonoring to themselves and almost to me because then I start to feel uncomfortable because, like, I had one guy friend, he started to make really crude jokes like, "Oh my gosh, we would make cute babies." And I'm like, "That's disgusting because I don't see you that way, and I don't want you to joke around like that." Or, like, joking to someone that, I'm his wife. It's very dishonoring to my heart because if I don't see someone like that, if you're joking around like that, it's disgusting. So, I think one of the things that God has taught me through this whole, like, dating process or just dealing with men is the gift and the talent of being honest. That, like, you almost have to guard your heart in a way that says, "Hey, this doesn't feel good. This doesn't feel good that, like, my guy friend is making crude jokes about me. This doesn't feel good." So, like, the more you follow your heart, the more you understand, like, "Hey, like, I've been in toxic situations that I was like, okay, like, it feels good when they're being nice to me, but when they're being mean to me, like, wait a minute, that's not love, that's not kindness." And so, like, the more they're mean to me, the more they lie to me, the more I'm like, wait a minute, my heart doesn't feel good. And, like, even though those moments of them being nice seems like good enough, the more they are toxic and mean, the more you understand, like, wait a minute, my heart doesn't feel good. My heart feels horrible right now. So I feel like the Lord is teaching me the essence of experiencing what's in your heart, the essence of listening to your heart, the essence of every day, like, does this feel good or does this feel bad? Is hanging around this person making me feel good? Or is my heart doing a backflip because this person is annoying to me, or this person is dishonoring or disrespectful or being toxic to me? So, like, I think we disrespect ourselves when we don't follow our heart and listen to our heart. We kind of think, "Well, no, it's okay because I like this person, because they're hot, attractive, like, I'm going to let them step all over me." And it's like, "No, like, honor your heart," right? And I think the more easily you realize this, like, there's 2 people, right, in dating, right? The faster you recognize, like, this doesn't feel good for my heart, and the faster you will release the truth out of your mouth, because when you speak, you're creating reality in a sense. You're creating truth, like, you're speaking to the heart. So when you speak truth, you're speaking to someone's heart and you're saying, like, "Look, this is my truth," and, like, listen. So the faster I've been able to recognize, like, this isn't good for my heart, like, I've had someone like that I used to like come back into my life and try to be friends with me. And he would act like like a boyfriend. Like he would try to hold my hand, hug me, and love me the way that like I wanted to be loved. But guess what? He did not want a relationship because he was still in love with his exes. And I could sit there and be like, you know what? That's okay. Or I could walk away and say, "You know what? I deserve better." And that's what I did. I was like, "I deserve better," even though, like, I feel loved when I'm with you. I feel appreciated and accepted. But essentially, what do I want? I want a relationship and I want to get married. So, is this person someone that wants to get married or be in a relationship? And hey, how are you? And if they're not, let them go. Everyone comes into this world like as a baby, right? And then we grow up having to distinguish our will and our desire. What is your desire? What do you want in life? A lot of us go through life just like, I don't know what I want and I'm just reacting to things. You get to a point where you have to define what is it that you want. So I got to a point in my life where God was like, okay, like it's time to get married. It's time to date again. Get ready. Keep moving. Like, I've been disappointed, I've been heartbroken, I've been hurt, like, this whole year and then last year, I went through so much, and I've been attacked verbally, online. Exactly. I've been attacked about relationships, I've been attacked about dating online, like, I have trolls. Um, because why? Because my husband's coming, because your soulmate is coming, because your promises are coming true, and Satan hates the idea of us actually like understanding relationships because he wants to blind us from the truth. He wants to blind us to think, oh, okay, God doesn't care about our marriages. God doesn't care about our relationships. That's a lie because God cares deeply, intimately about who you're going to marry, who you're going to be with. He cares. And that's why I'm sharing all of this information that I've learned. First of all, girls, don't be ashamed or feel bad about initiating. You are the powerful one. You are the choosers in relationships. So many girls have this misconception that like they're not allowed to initiate, that they're not allowed to say what's on their mind. Wait till the guy tells her. No. You be the one to initiate. You say what's on your mind. Hey, I like you. I don't see a future with you. I have feelings for you. I like you. Why not? Why does a guy always have to be the one to profess his love? And guess what? I've been rejected too. I've professed my love. I've told a guy that I liked him. And guess what? He's like, no, like, I don't see a future with you. Guess what? Move on. Like, great. I've told you how I felt and because it was in my heart. And guess what? My heart is better for so alive. I feel so energetic. I can't even sleep till 3 a.m. because I have so much energy because I tell the truth now. And it's so cool because I feel energetic. Like I feel life within me. Like I feel blood rushing into my face because I live for my core, for my truth, and I don't care about culture. I don't care about, societal expectations, like women should be demure and all this. Amen. The faster you tell your truth, the faster you'll, like he said, weed out the bad ones. It's so true. Like, the faster you stand your ground. And I feel like we live in a society where it's like, oh, there's all these rules to like how you should do things. No, tell your truth. Tell your truth. Like, for me, if I go on a date with someone and I'm like, hey, I don't see a future with that person, I the next day, or I even tell them after the date, like, look, I was thinking about it and like I don't feel like there's a future for us because blah 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 blah. And it hurts and it feels like so bad sometimes because you feel like you're hurting someone's feelings. But the sooner you get to the truth, the faster you can move on. And like, honestly, like yesterday, right? Oh gosh. So I hung out with this guy and it turns out like he thought that I changed my mind, right? And I was like, well, I thought you wanted to hang out as a friend. And anyways, it was confusing. The point is, he told me his truth is that he thought I changed my mind. And I was like, no, I didn't change my mind about you. Right. And then so then we were talking about like the situation that this guy kept coming back as a friend and trying to be my friend. And he goes, well, I feel like you're an addict. And I was like, what? I was like, I feel like you're accusing me. Like, I'm not an addict. If I was an addict, I'd be calling this person or going to their house every day. I'm not. The reason I cut him off was like, I don't see you being I didn't see him being a friend, so like I'm trying to like not talk to him at all. And so then we started arguing and it was just this whole thing where my heart was like, I hate this. I hate this. Like my heart was like getting anxious and like when you're arguing about something being right or wrong, you're already not emotionally invested. Arguments and debates really has to do with the fact that like you're just being logical, right? At the end of it, I got out the car and I was like, look, here's the truth. And that's why we're arguing and that's why it feels bad. If I was into you and I saw you the same way that you saw me, we'd be hugging. Okay? We'd be comforting each other and we'd be we would be cuddling and comforting each other. But because I don't feel the same way about you, hey, yeah, that's true. I was like, since like I don't feel the same way about you, that's why we're arguing. If we liked each other, we would not be sitting here arguing. And like sometimes, and I realized like that was a key. Sometimes at the end of a relationship, we just argue and argue and argue. Like sometimes you meet someone and you're in the relationship with them and all you do is argue. Why? Because your heart is already disconnected. You wouldn't be arguing that much if your heart is like aligned with each other, but because there's already a disconnect, that's why you're arguing so much. And I was like, wow, that's really interesting. Like, hey, so again, first tip, ladies, don't be afraid to initiate. Don't be afraid to meet as soon as possible, to ask to meet as soon as possible because you're trying to meet people in real life, not just to have online, like virtual relationships. Second, be as honest as possible. I write on my dating app, this is what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for hookups. I'm looking for marriage. Like, I want to have kids. I'm not 420 friendly. Like, be as honest as possible. Sometimes we're so afraid to um offend someone that we're like, oh, that's me being unloving. No, it's your spouse. It's your marriage partner. It's someone you're gonna spend the rest of your life with. So many people compromise, and guess what? They get divorced. They compromise what they truly want in a guy, and they're like, "Well, this is good enough, but, something's missing, but it's okay, I'll just deal with it because the chemistry is there." No, you need everything on your list. And then third of all is, guys, this like guys and girls, don't expect someone to change if they say it that they don't see a future with you. Don't think that if you are friends with them for like 10 years, that this girl or this guy is going to change your mind. If you like someone, tell them. Like, it's so obvious, but like, I have heard so many stories from people who are like, you know what, like, I hung out with her for 1 whole year and she acted like she liked me. She even said like I would be in a relationship with you, but blah, blah. No, don't hang around someone lingering, thinking that they know what you're thinking. That, oh, but it was so obvious, I acted like I liked her. No, people don't know what you're thinking. Use your words. Like, I've been in situations like that too. When I was younger, I was at church and there were guys I liked. And I thought, oh, they liked me too because they're asking me to like go eat. They're asking me to go get boba. Like, they do like me. And then I found out, like, oh my gosh, they just got a girlfriend. Use your words. And like, that's something that I definitely did not learn from going to church because you're taught to be subtle and to be demure and all this stuff. But the older you get, the more you're like, "Oh my gosh, I gotta use my words. I'm gonna say how I feel at all times." You can say, "Oh, I have feelings for you. I think you're cute, and I think you're handsome." And you're gonna put yourself out there, and you might feel embarrassed. You might feel humiliated, but like, who cares? Because life is short, and like, you have to say what's on your heart at all times. You know? Hey, so don't be afraid to date. Like, I want to share with you, don't be afraid to date. And I would say there's a few misconceptions growing up in the church. First of all, I'm waiting on God. So I'm just being patient because God's gonna send me my Prince Charming and he's gonna freaking knock on my door. Wrong! He's not. Some people are going to meet their spouses through referrals. That's great. But God also gave you a tool. Gave you different tools, right? He used like what's it called? There's online dating apps. That's a tool that God has given us. And I feel like I've met so many Christians like that tell me, "Oh, I'm just being patient. I'm just waiting on God. I'm just loving myself." But like, no, that's an excuse because you're afraid of failure. You're afraid of rejection. You're afraid of failing. Do you know that I got asked out at church? And this guy like was like, "Oh, we went to like Olive Garden, right?" And he goes, "Oh, I've been observing you, and you know what? Like, you're just like a really godly woman, and I've observed you at church, and my sister talks about you, and like you're exactly what I'm looking for." And I was like, "What? But I don't even know you, and you don't even know me. You've never spent any time with me. How can you know that I'm what you're looking for?" He's like, "Oh, cause I heard about you and I watch you at church." And I was like, "What? First of all, we've never had a conversation. How can you say that you like me? How can you say that I'm the one for you?" Why? Because a lot of Christians are taught growing up in church not to try things, to like fail, to try and fail. So we're taught that, oh, I just need to know who the one is. God, just tell me who's the one because we don't want to fail. Oh, someone asked, what is your opinion on trying to date while in the military? It's okay to date, yeah, just there's no right or wrong. Like, if you want to date, date. If you don't want to date, don't date. But yeah, go ahead and date, because there'll be someone that like is willing to date and like be patient and things like that. Because I know that's what you have to do in military. But so that's what I grew up like with at church. It's just like you have to have this like if you date, you have to know that's the one. And it's like, no, that was such a huge misconception at church, and I just wish to dispel that I'm recently met 2 guys that are Christian, and, they're like, "Oh, I just don't really date," you know? Like, guess what? Your life is something you have to proactively live. Thank you. You have to proactively live your life. Even from yesterday, like, I went through a lot, right? And God's like, "Keep moving." You know, don't be scared of things not working out. Don't be scared of, oh, people misunderstanding what you were thinking. Keep moving. Keep moving, like, because I think especially since my dad and I didn't get to converse with him at all, communicate with him at all. Like, there was a fear of communication, a fear of telling my truth or telling my dad how I felt. So that's something that I'm practicing in dating and going on dates is like, how do I practice telling how I feel? How do I practice telling my truth at all times and not being afraid of the feelings that come up, of the feelings of closeness, the feelings of attachment, the feelings of love, the feelings of hate? How do you express like sadness? How do you express anger towards someone? So like one of the things that frustrated me a lot yesterday was like this person I felt like he was being fake, and he's like, "No, I'm not being fake." It's like, well, because 'cause you're trying so hard to be polite that it frustrates me. That, like, I feel like you're not actually on your mind, and I can sense it with all of my being. I sense, like, that you're suppressing something. You're suppressing what you actually wanna say, and before I was that type of person. Growing up in the church, it's like, if I was angry, I'd be like, "No, it's fine, like, I forgive you," you know? But then I go home and be still angry, still bitter, because I wasn't actually being honest about how I felt, and the more I grow up and, like, just get older and more mature, the more I'm like, "No, like, if I'm not okay with something, if I'm still mad at someone, be okay with that." You don't have to forgive someone, like, right away. You don't have to, like, seem like this kind person because to me, that's fake. Been there. So, anyways, I just pray, Heavenly Father, that God, you would continue to bless what I'm seeing, that God, someone will hear this and be touched, that it would help them in their lives to be more honest about how they feel at any cost, at all costs, that they would be honest to those who they meet, and that they wouldn't be afraid to voice their opinions or voice their feelings, and that they would move forward and not live in the past. In Jesus' name, amen. I pray that this helped you a lot, and make sure to subscribe to my blog, rebekkalien.com, my Spotify, The Beck Show, my YouTube channel. It's called The Beck Show, BEX. And if you'd like to donate to the ministry, you could do so on my website. God bless. Bye. Bye.